everyone, and welcome. It's great to see you again on this wonderful Tuesday. To the only show that asks you to pull up a chair and get out your old Paizo books and join us at the table. We are this close to the month of Halloween, so we're going to have a lot of fun and try to talk about some fun Halloween-themed things. But before we get into that, let's do a quick introduction. My man Michael Powell, tell us who you are and where we can find you on that sweet internet.
Hello, everybody. I am Michael Powell. You can find me on my social medias, which are at Mr. Kapow. That's MRKAPAO. And I do actually have a chin.
Hi, and I have a chin as well. However, I don't look nearly as awesome in a mutton shop. I'm not sporting the mutts like my man is. You know me. I am PJ. I'm everywhere at pj.mcgaw. Yeah, I guess without further ado, let's get cracking right into it. I wanted to let everyone know that I put a Discord link in the chat. So if you want to join us on our private Discord, please do. We look forward to seeing you and just shoot the breeze. But without further ado, it is almost October. And what is one of the things that everyone likes to dress up as, when they were a kid at some point or another? A pirate. And today, we are going to be putting on our fancy best. Unfortunately, this is the fancy best I had, and I'm giving it my college fancy best. Anyway,
I made mine out of a sun hat, but I do have a nice flower on it.
Yeah, it looks very fancy. If I wasn't wearing these headphones, I'd actually get to wear this proper. Funny story about me. I used to be in a traveling sword fighting show. I know it sounds carny as hell, but it was real. For like 3 or 4 years, from like high school to college, I think it's so dusty, I would travel up and down the East Coast, going to rent fairs and private functions, and we would do sword fighting shows, and I was always the Englishman who was being beaten up by the Scotsmen or the pirates. So this is the hat I wore. God, it's so dumb. Bad hat care 101. I gotta clean this bastard.
Let's get a lint brush. Get a lint brush.
I need a lint brush. Everyone's talking about pirates in the chat. Well, if you want to play a pirate in Pathfinder, please do so. We're all about
swashing the buckles.
Swashing the buckles both ways. I'm going to shut it before I get worse. So today we're going to be talking about the Swashbuckler class. Now, this is going to be a little different from what you may or may not remember in first edition, but there's going to be a lot of really fun roleplay fluff here for combat and for out of combat. So without further ado,
before we go on, could I mention something really quick?
Yes, please.
For those who don't know, my character Rufa is using the Swashbuckler archetype in Edge of Legends, our flagship game.
That's right. Rufa has multi-classed as an
Investigator.
And look, one of these days, Paizo's going to give me the Inquisitor, and I'll never say it again. I'll
Dude,
keep calling
seriously
them
though,
investigators.
Rufa as an Inquisitor scares even me.
I mean, I could see that, like the AU or UA, AU, yeah, the AU, Rufa. I'm here for it. All right.
Definitely lawful evil. Definitely.
Oh God, yeah. Huh. Or like so lawful and neutral that they don't care about the evil things their government's telling them to do. That kind of situation. Well,
he'd be enforcing the law. He'd be just dreading it.
Yeah. I am the law.
I am the Swashbuckler.
So speaking of Swashbuckler, let's get this silly show on the road, shall we?
All right.
Swashbuckler. Do you want to read the description?
Sure.
For those of you who don't have your book.
Many warriors rely on brute force, weighty armor, or cumbersome weapons. For you, battle is a dance where you move among foes with style and grace. You dart among combatants with flair and land powerful finishing moves with a flick of the wrist and a flash of the blade, all the while countering attacks with elegant repose that keeps enemies off balance, harassing and thwarting your foes, lets you calm fate and cheat death time and again with aplomb and plenty of flair.
Very, very nice. Mm-hmm. So you are a fancy man.
Mm-hmm. And as you probably would have guessed, your key ability as a swashbuckler is dexterity because you need to be nimble, quick, and acrobatic-y. Is that a word? Acrobatic-y? It's a word now.
Yeah, I mean,
We're making a
acrobatic,
word.
acrobatic. We're making up words.
You're making up words now.
At the table, wordsmiths. We invent crap on the fly.
But I will say one thing is cool about swashbucklers because it is a martial class. They're going full in with a martial, not like you know how rogue, investigator, they have like 8 HP starting off. You're getting a full 10 with your constitution modifier.
Yeah, so what's cool is that your armor class may suck, but now you have the potential to really plant yourself on the front line. Now, you won't be just standing there. Maybe unless you build it that way, you could. But you're going to be a mobile monster with enough HP to, I guess, forgive your bad dice rolls.
Yeah.
And speaking of your dice rolls, here is what you'll be proficient in. Out the gate, holy crap, expert in perception. You're an expert at level 1. I don't think anyone else gets that. Maybe the ranger.
Investigator does.
Oh, they do? Awesome. Still rare.
Yeah.
Fighters don't get that.
Yeah.
Saving throws. Trained in fortitude, expert in reflex, expert in will. You are trained in acrobatics out the gate. Use that high dexterity. You are trained in one skill determined by your swashbuckler style, and you are trained in a number of additional skills equal to 4 plus your intelligence modifier.
It's not too bad. Not too bad.
Yeah, coming in a stone cold moron, you're stepping out the gate with 1, 2, 6. 6 skill proficiencies, not including perception.
And not including the one you have for your background. You get 2 for your backgrounds too,
Oh, you get 2. Oh, that's right. You get 2 for your background as well. That could be a total of 8.
6, 6, 7, 8. 8 skills. That's a lot.
That's a lot. And again, like that's not even counting perception, and you can get more depending on how smart you are. Attacks. You are trained in simple martial and unarmed strikes. You are trained in light and unarmored defense, and your class DC exists. It's a thing. You get it. You start off trained. So that is all the basic building blocks out the gate, and now the features.
The main feature of do you mind if I just jump a little bit ahead? Because I know I have the PDF with me, but I can't really explain the next one without explaining the one after it.
Okay, yeah. Why don't you go right ahead, and then I'll go back and do the other one.
Which is Panache. Panache is basically this skill is, this ability is wrapped up around your entire rogue playstyle. Right?
Yeah, so the panache, are you talking about the panache or the style?
Panache.
Yeah. So the panache is really all about, and this is what I was talking about, kind of like the fluff affecting combat. This is where the how affects the what. And this is where if you're like me and you like to spin a yarn over something simple as like picking a lock, you get rewarded for it. And by doing it a specific way, in a specific reason, you get a point. And this point is really cool because this point becomes the balancing act for your entire character. With this point, you also get a 5-foot stat, the bonus to move. You get a +1 circumstance bonus to checks to tumble through, or acrobatics, and take any actions that give you panache due to your style. So when you get this point, you get a small buff, and you get to exchange this buff in for a really cool thing. And we'll get to that later. But that's basically panache. Do something cool, get a panache point.
Yep, and your panache feeds into your other abilities. Like I said, panache is the centerpiece of the swashbuckler. Oh, and really quick, I just want to read some stuff in chat. Sydney is saying, man, the more you describe them, the more I want to create an incredibly gay swashbuckler that is badass as hell and woos the ladies by sweeping them off their feet from the rigging of a ship. I'm all for that. I am all for that.
I stand it. Do it. Make a pirate. Make a pirate yourself. We can totally have one.
And Reap Psyche saying most words in D&D are made up. Shakespeare invented half our common language for entertainment. That is very true.
Very good. And did you know Shakespeare invented the word vomit? That did not exist until he just
There we
plucked it
go.
out of thin air. Yeah.
And also, Sydney saying, Rufa loves some panache. Yes, he does.
He got style for days,
Uh-huh.
for sure. For sure.
I also want to point out one of the things with panache, the +5 movement speed. This is a class you definitely really want to play if your GM is going to be using uh, using miniatures and a map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do a lot of theater of the mind on Edge of Legend, but only because we kind of have to because we're playing from home. But we have been talking to a lot of people. There may be something down the road coming where we get to play more physically. Of course, when quarantine is over and everyone's healthy and fine. And that is where those movement bonuses and a bunch of other kind of bonuses really will come in handy. But that being said, let's talk about how you get panache. Exactly. Let's talk about how you get panache specifically with your swashbuckler style.
All right.
I think you want to talk about this, so Michael, why don't you start us off?
All right. Give me one sec. Actually, how about you start it off because I'm gonna find my handy dandy. There you go. How about you start off? I'll take the second one because we have a lot of style with the swashbuckler.
That's very true. So let me put on my handy dandy swashbuckler chapeau, which doesn't fit because I have a head set on, so I'm going to keep my neck very still. All right,
actually, I'll say the first one. I'll talk about the Rufus style. You talk about the other one, okay?
Okay, yeah. Go ahead and start us off.
Okay. The first one is Battle Dancer. As you know, Rufa, he is a dance instructor, so main reason why I went with Swashbuckler. To you, a fight is kind of a performance art, and you command your foe's attention with mesmerizing motions. You are trained in performance and gain the fascinating performance skill feat. You gain panache during an encounter with the result of your performance check to perform. What the heck? Okay, I'm gonna read that again because I think I got some tongue-tied. You gain panache during an encounter when the result of your performance check to perform exceeds the will DC of an observing foe, even if that foe isn't fascinated. And your finisher here is you could step as a free action immediately after the finisher.
Yeah,
you get
so
that at level 9.
Yeah, so this is really cool because for Battle Dancer, especially if you're like Rufa and your whole build is about, making these performance checks in combat, so long as you beat the DC, but they don't have any sort of negative effect, you just get a panache point, and you get to keep this balance of buffing yourself up and then expending that buff point. Now on the next one.
Quick, I want to point this out. I believe Battle Dancer, out of all the other styles, you get the most consistent panache, because all the other ones rely on auditory or something else. With Battle Dancer, you just have to perform. It doesn't even have to. You don't even have to exceed their willpower thing. Let me check.
It has to exceed the willpower DC, but it doesn't have to have any effects. Yeah. So even if you don't have any abilities or any special things for beating their will DC, just beating their will DC alone. And that can take one action. So as long as you reserve one action to keep getting panache, you're going to keep having it.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next one, Braggart. I, good sir, would posit this as being a strong counter to the Battle Dancer. For one reason only, and I'll get to that in a second. Braggart, you boast taunt and physically needle your foes. You are trained in intimidation. You gain panache during an encounter whenever you successfully demoralize a foe. Now, the only reason why I say this is a good contender against Battle Dancer is because you get a swashbuckler braggart, and then you get the archetype, the firebrand braggart, and now you got brags for days. Brags on brags on brags, and you're demoralizing your foe, you're buffing yourself like crazy is Naz.
Let me counter that with one of the things about demoralizing somebody is, at least with words, they have to understand your words. So if they don't understand that language, that's not going to really have an effect on them.
True. I want to say, and I might be wrong here, I want to say there's some ability that the swashbuckler or the firebrand braggart has where the verbal component is no longer necessary. It's more like you're so imposing or the attitude of your
It's
words are so imposing. But
it's a feat.
I
It's
forgot.
a feat. It's an intimidating gaze.
Ah, ooh,
But
okay,
you have to
okay.
take that though. That's not built in.
And hey, you know what? That's still not a bad buy. You get a ton of feats, especially if you're
And
human. You can get intimidating gaze and group coercion,
yep.
and now you're intimidating the whole
Mhm.
swaths of people with the look. Oh,
Yeah.
oh man.
What's their finisher though for that?
The finisher for the braggart. I'll have to go back to the finisher then. I believe the braggart gets to. Actually, I can't find it in the book.
Do you want me to read it for you?
Please and
Uh,
thank you.
all right. The finisher is if the foe was temporarily immune to your demoralize, the temporary immunity ends.
Very, very nice. So, oh, that's really good because if you failed an ability check, you get the chance to do it again. They're no
Yep.
longer immune. That's really nice. Want to handle fencer? Or do you want me to
Yep.
do fencer?
I'll do the fencer. This is your traditional Errol Flynn's Three Musketeers style. You move carefully, feinting and creating false openings to lead your foes into inopportune attacks. You are trained in deception. You gain panache during a counter when you successfully feint or create a diversion against a foe. That's not too bad. Like I said, it's your traditional, Robin Hood, Three Musketeers, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
character.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of. Here I go flexing about my past. Back when I had a good right knee, I used to do a lot of fencing,
Hmm.
and it reminds me a lot about being on the strip. And when you're extending into a feint, and then you do a basically like a parry or a counter parry or a post, so you're basically opening up this I guess you could say a dialogue of steel, and
Yeah.
you're looking for your way to report your bon mot to put the
Hmm.
exclamation point. And fencer is really good if everything I just said sounds like something you know and like to do. I think fencer is the swashbuckler
Hmm.
for you.
And the finisher for that is your foe is flat-footed until your next turn, which you're
Oh man,
basically your rogue's best friend. Or if you take the rogue archetype.
yeah. Oh, by the way, so this is something. So the extra stuff, the exemplary finishers that Michael Powell is reading from is at ninth level. So
Mhm.
we're probably going to at least touch on that a little bit and then move on from there. So all these like really cool extra things
Yeah.
come at ninth level.
Hmm.
So don't look forward to that right at the
Yeah.
gate, but it's something to look forward to
Hmm.
down the road.
Oh, we got in
Um,
chat. Reap is saying one of my favorite swashbuckling scenes ever was Danny Kane in the court jester.
Danny K. I think that's one of those old fashioned swashbucklers,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Kind of like the black and white era.
Hmm.
Yeah, I,
And
I love some of that stuff,
mhm.
but man,
and Reap Psyche says sheer bravo brags for you, and Sydney replies flex, do it.
yeah, that was me talking about. Oh, so the full flex. So when I used to fence, I'm originally from Washington D.C. Well, just
Mhm.
outside of Washington D.C. And I for about six to 8 years, I trained at the Virginia Academy of Fencing. It sounds very very hoity-toity. It was basically a McDojo that was also a place to babysit kids, but I was one of the best kids in the class 3 years running at
Mhm.
fencing. I did not keep those skills as I got older, but I loved it until I was about
Yep.
16.
I have a kind
All
of
right, so
similar story. Back in the day when I was in private school, not really
ooh,
private school, just it's a school that my parents had to pay money for. But we did fencing for our gym. And it wasn't really fencing. It was a bunch of little kids running around smacking each other in the butt with a foil.
yeah, that sounds about right. I used to teach fencing. That sounds about right. All right. So speaking of running around the gym, this is a horrible segue, and here I go. Gymnast. You reposition, maneuver, and bewilder your foes with daring feats of physical prowess. You are trained in athletics. You gain panache during an encounter whenever you successfully grapple, shove, or trip a foe. Now, this is interesting because it goes against type a little bit. Being a dex-based character with a reliance on a strength-based skill will make you a little mad or multiple attribute dependent. But what is great about this is if you can get those skills up there, you are now a swashbuckler who controls the battlefield.
Hmm.
It's a very interesting build.
And this is definitely one of the builds where, as Sydney put it before, the swing from the ship rigging type of swashbuckler.
Yeah, this is where your big acts of physical movement and your big acts of like moving other people are going to become a huge part of the narrative you're trying to tell as you fight.
Yeah, and
Uh,
once again, Swashbuckler is great when you use like a battle map and minis.
yeah, especially for all the movements of politics you're going to have to play with.
Hmm.
Now, last but not least, and I want to cover this only because this last one, juicy, reminds me of Cyrano de Bergerac.
Mm.
Wit. You are friendly, clever, and full of humor, always knowing just what to say in any situation. Your witticisms leave foes unprepared for the skill and speed of your attacks. You are trained in diplomacy and gain the bon mot skill feat. You gain panache during an encounter whenever you succeed at a bon mot against a foe. That rhymes, so you know it's good.
Hmm.
I just love this because again, I'm just seeing Cyrano de Bergerac all up and down this piece. Even like tailoring the insult poem before you fight the guy, and then fighting the guy, and timing the duel so that you defeat him as the poem ends. Abe Ferrara was amazing in a black and white version of this. If you haven't checked it out, good piece of movie.
Yeah, honestly, I almost kind of took wit as my style for Rufa.
I can see that. Honestly, what's great about this is that all these styles not only fit Rufus so well, but they fit so many characters.
Yeah.
Now, what I would say, if you don't know about Cyrano de Bergerac, wit could also be Miguel and Tulio from Road to El Dorado.
Hmm. Oh, we have Malice with a question. Are those strength, or do you choose based off of class? I think that was referring to the gymnast abilities.
Yeah, I think that's what that is reference to. So athletics is based off strength.
Hmm.
Kind of has how it's been for a while. So the issue with the gymnast is that a lot of these ways to get panache, grappling, shoving, and tripping, and the athletics check to do those things with, those are all based on strength. And while that's very, very smart to have a character that can control the battlefield for the rest of the teammates, it does go against typing a bit, which is fine. Everyone likes having a special twist on something. But to be so heavily invested in your dexterity, your intelligence, your charisma, and then to try and trickle back into strength is going to get dicey.
Yeah, but honestly, if you have strength and dex as your main stats for Swashbuckler, and then maybe use charisma as your third dairy, not too bad. It's not too bad, honestly.
Yeah.
And also, the wit's finisher is. Do you want to read that?
Sure, let me go over to the exemplary finisher on the 9th level. So, wit. The foe takes a -2 circumstance penalty to attack rolls against you until the start of your next turn. So by getting this panache point, you're also effectively imposing a debuff of -2 on your enemy.
Hmm.
Pretty good.
Yeah, because you're getting into their head. You're getting into their head. That's why I was like, maybe Rufus should take wit.
Makes it impossible to hit him. So really fast, precise strike is the next one. Do you want to handle this one, Michael, or do you want me to knock it out really fast?
Let me give me a second. All right, I'll handle it if you don't mind.
Sure.
Find it on my handy dandy tablet here. Let's see
The
here.
handy
Here it
dandy
is.
notebook.
You strike with flair. When you have panache, you strike with an agile or finesse melee weapon or agile or finesse unarmed attack. You deal 2 additional precision damage. If the strike is part of a finisher, the additional damage is 2d6 precision damage instead. As your swashbuckler level increases, so does your additional damage for a precise strike. Increase the additional damage on a strike and the number of additional dice on a finisher by 1 at 5th, 9th, 13th, and 17th level.
So this is awesome. If you ever wanted to play a rogue that didn't have to worry about constant move mechanics for getting stealth or flanking or whatever, you can just be a swashbuckler. Get all the perks of being a fighter, all the perks of being a rogue, with the sweet, lazy middle ground to sit back and role play your ass off.
Mm-hmm.
You get for getting the panache point. Let's talk about that. Just for getting a panache point, which, as we've explained already, could be as simple as one action in your turn. You're now getting 2 bonus damage at level 1, I think.
Yeah.
At level 1, 2 bonus damage. Say you have a 4 modifier in your dexterity. You're now doing, I don't know, what? A plus 6 to your damage. And then if you cash in that panache point, you're like, you know what? I'm sick and tired of doing plus 2 damage. I want to do plus 2d6. Kaboom. Drop the mic. And now you're doing 2d6 more. And then you can just get the panache point back on another action you spend to make another check.
Yeah. Like you can do precise strike, and then as soon as that's done, tumble through or do your panache action, and you have panache right back again.
Yeah, and here's where things get nasty. Let's put this to a level 20 build really fast. You're getting a total of a plus 10 bonus damage when you have a panache point, and plus 66 on the precision dice added to the strike. Now, chat, please remind me because I'm kind of forgetting. I know we mentioned precision damage a little while ago. And I'm trying to remember where we last stand on that. Does precision damage double when you crits? Because I know in Pathfinder First Edition, it did not. So if you remember, put that in there. But moving on, confident finisher.
Yep.
Want me to knock this one out really fast?
Yeah.
Okay, so whenever you do your finisher, which we described in about 2 pages, you get the Confident Finisher action. The Confident Finisher, 1 action. You make an incredibly graceful attack, piercing your foe's defense. Make a strike with a weapon or unarmed attack that would apply your precise strike damage with the following failure effect. You deal half your precise strike damage to the target. This damage type is that of the weapon or unarmed attack that you use for the strike. So, if you have that panache point and you're dropping that finisher, drop all that precision damage, and you're like, oh man, here comes the pain train. I'm not blowing the whistle on this one. God damn it! But if you do that, even if you miss, you're still dealing damage. So at level 1, there's no reason not to be fighting. You're unstoppable. If you miss, oh no, you're still doing half. If you hit, guess what? I'm doing a lot. It's a tremendously built class. Paizo, don't nerf. This is gorgeous. I love this.
Like, honestly, this reminds me of the finishers of the character Charlotte from Samurai Showdown.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a throwback. Thank you, my man. I love that game. They made a new one recently, didn't they?
Yeah.
With, like, really cool graphics.
Mm-hmm.
Here at Nat20 Productions, we approve Samurai Showdown. Please go check it out and enjoy yourself.
Please sponsor us.
Please sponsor us, Neo Geo. Yeah, not Nat Geo. Nat Geo is something else. Okay, so there's a lot of class features, but they're kind of similar to things you've seen before, with some interesting twists here. So I'm going to go through, and when we get to something really fun and unique, I'll throw it to Michael Powell. Do you mind, Michael Powell?
Sure. And like I said before, a lot of these abilities, they're built in with the panache mechanic.
Yeah. So at first level, you have everything we already talked about, and you get a Swashbuckler feat at first level. You also get a skill feat at second level, general feat at third level. You also get great fortitude at third level, making your fortitude an expert. And then you get something called Opportune Riposte. Michael, why don't you read the Opportune Riposte?
All right. Go. Opportune Riposte. It's a reaction ability. The trigger is a foe within your reach critically fails a strike against you. You take advantage of an opening from your enemy's fumbled attack. You either make a melee strike against the triggering foe or attempt to disarm it of the weapon it used for the strike. So if your GM critically fails that attack roll, you get a free attack. It's kind of like a modified version of Attack of Opportunity.
Yeah, and what's great about this is that it's free to the character. It pops up at third level. And let's say you're like, okay, I could roll to hit, maybe miss. Or I'm going to disarm them of a weapon, which means their damage is going to drop significantly, or they have to spend, I don't know how many actions to turn getting the weapon back. So you have a lot of tactics here just with a low-level reaction. And what's also crazy to note is how many things you get at third level. General feats, great fortitude, this riposte, a skill increase, a stylish trick, Basically, it looks like another skill feat. This feat must be for acrobatics or the trained skill of your swashbuckler style. And you get vivacious speed. You want to cover that with Michael Powell?
All right, vivacious speed. When you make a impression, you move even faster than normal, darting about the battlefield with incredible speed. Increase the status bonus to your speeds when you have panache to a plus 10-foot status bonus. The bonus increases by 5 feet at 7th, 11th, 15th, and 19th levels. When you don't have panache, you still get half the status bonus to your speed, rounded down to the nearest 5-foot increment. Yeah, I keep saying this. I'm going to keep saying it in this video. Yeah, this class is all about battlefield control and movement. I even want to say even more so than Monk, kind of.
I think the thing about Monk is all about getting there quickly.
Yeah.
The Swashbuckler is all about moving around. There's a lot of really cool things like moving through or tumbling through and all these different abilities that encourage you to be constantly moving, which is really kind of funny because you have a fighter's HP and they don't want you to be sitting still. I also did the count. At level 3, you get 5 features. I think that's the most features per level I've ever seen in second edition.
Swashbuckler gets a lot of stuff in early on.
Yeah, they really do. But I think it's because that early part of their build is literally the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And we'll move on from there really fast. Ability boosts at 5th level, everyone gets those. Ancestry feats at 5th level, everyone gets those. Weapon expertise, your training in weapons now becomes expert. And you have access to the critical specialization effects of all weapons that you have expert proficiency on. Evasion. You are now you're now a master in reflex saves, and when you roll a success on a reflex save, you get a crit instead.
That's always really good.
It's not quite like first edition where you took half damage because now you're subject to the success and failure chart, which I love. I love that because as a GM, I always have to make something up. And I have to worry if it's balanced or if it's too punishing. But now with this system, there is a set reaction that makes everything easier for me and more fun for the players. Weapon specialization, you just do more damage. 2 when you get it, and then 3 master for if you're legendary training, that is. Exemplary finisher. Now, we talked about this a little bit when we mentioned your fighting style. At level 9, whenever you use a finisher, cashing in that panache point to do the 2d6 or however much d6 damage, you get a special effect depending on your fighting style. We mentioned it briefly. I'll mention it really quick just to kind of catch up or refresh. Battle Dancer, you can step immediately as a free action after your finisher. Braggart, if they were immune to your demoralize, they're no longer immune. Fencer, they're now flat-footed. Gymnast, if a foe is grabbed, restrained, or prone, you gain a circumstance bonus to the damage roll equal to twice the number of the weapon damage die. Okay, that's actually pretty good. I don't know if we covered that, but that's damage central right there. If you're grabbing someone in a headlock, if you have them on the if they're on the ground, and I think you get bonus points for attacking a prone opponent, you get double.
We'll talk about it later, but Swashbuckler has a really, really awesome, at least in my opinion, feat when it comes to that.
Oh, I can't wait. So yeah, you do double. You get a bonus to the damage roll equal to twice the number of weapon damage dice. That's on top of everything else. That could end game with the magic weapon, with a +3 magic weapon. That could be +6 bonus damage, not including all the other bonus damage, the fat stacks of damage. Good God.
PJ, I just want to say this. I'm just now envisioning a Swashbuckler putting his foe in like a wedgie in a grapple.
You know what? Because I'm a silly Billy, if you roll a high enough grapple check or a success, I will allow that. Swashbuckler expertise, you also get a 9th level with the series of finishers. Let's see here. Proficiency rank for your Swashbuckler DC is now increased to expert. So if you have special things that they are required to save against, it's harder. Continuous flare. Ooh, I think the man, the myth, the legend himself needs to talk about continuous flare.
All right. That's a level 11 ability. While not equal to the heights of your panache in combat, you have a dramatic flair about you in any situation. Whenever you succeed at a check during exploration that would have granted you panache in combat, you gain a +1 circumstance bonus to further checks for actions that would grant you panache in combat. This benefit ends when the exploration changes to a different scene as determined by the GM, or shifts to an encounter or downtime.
So this one's kind of fun and kind of interesting because this lets you front load all of your powers before a fight even starts. Now, granted, you kind of have to stumble into it, so it's kind of weird. But just considering how overpowered the first 3 levels are for this class, I can excuse this. So let's just say you are the gymnast. Yeah, gymnast or battle dance. Let's go gymnast. Let's say you're the gymnast archetype, and you are using an athletics check to bound up something like kind of hardcore parkour. And you're like, man, if only I was in combat, I would have gotten a panache point. But, oh well, whatever. Now, at a level 11, you can be like, that would have given me a panache point. Now I have one. And the thing is, it's just sitting there doing nothing for the homies until you get into a fight, and you're like, oh, by the way, I did a backflip 2 hours ago, so finish or strike. What? It's kind of crazy. It's kind of fun.
And I also
Anyway,
kind of want to point this out. As a swashbuckler, your action economy should be along the lines of you have panache already, you gain panache with your first action, then you precise strike, and then tumble through or do your panache action, get panache again, rinse and repeat.
yeah, that's what I really love about this class is that it kind of feels like a video game character or an MMO character, something in the video game genre, because there is a system that encourages you to constantly pop your cooldowns, if you will. So it's like, as you're fighting, get that panache point, burn it, get it back, burn it, get it back. It's all easy. It will take some of your action economy, sure, but it's completely sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't want to burn that point, you get a flat bonus damage for being cautious. Like, it's so good. God, now I'm falling in love with this class. Every time I read about a new class, I fall in love with it. Damn you, Paizo.
You want to make a character for each and every one of these classes.
I do. I think one of these days I'm gonna get one class. I'm gonna be like, this is nice.
Inquisitor.
Oh, Inquisitor. Anyway, please don't make Inquisitor the one I don't want to play. It's such a good one. Vigilant senses. Through your adventures, you develop keen awareness and attention to detail. Perception's now mastered, which takes a long time to get to, but considering you start as an expert, you're not hurting for bonuses. Yeah. Improved evasion. Just like normal evasion, but better. It doesn't say that, I'm just saying that. When you roll a critical failure on a reflex save, you get a failure instead. When you roll a failure on a reflex save that gets a damaging effect, you take half damage. Even rolling a failure on a reflex save, you still only take half of whatever the damage is for that level on the failure chart. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Light armor expertise, you're now an expert in light armor. Weapon mastery, you're now a master in weapons. Greater weapon specialization, this is fun because this goes from 2, 3, 4, 4, 6, and 8. So at 15th level, you're now getting a bonus 6 damage on top of your dexterity modifier, on top of any bonuses for your weapon being magical, which at 15th level it better be.
Yeah. I kind of want to say, can I say this really quick? I think with light armor expertise and then weapon mastery and then greater weapon specialization, in my mind, you're basically a dragoon.
Oh yeah, I can kind of see that, especially if you want to like specialize in a spear. And we're talking about Final Fantasy dragoons, right?
That and also the traditional dragoons, like the armored cavalry members of during the French Revolution era, I think. I don't know too much about medieval history.
I know it was definitely more of a colonial thing. It may have been around in medieval times, but I know for sure it was a colonial unit, and I want to say the dragoons' job was to be effectively like the Marine Corps on horseback. Because most cavalries, they just were charges to break formation lines. so they just do hit and run tactics all the time. But I believe the Dragoons are actually meant to be a mobile auxiliary force that would stay engaged in combat. I might be wrong.
Yeah. Reap Psyche is saying, ooh, spear swashbuckler. I never thought of a swashbuckler with anything other than a sword. That would be really cool, but I do want to say, abilities like panache, you need to have a weapon that's finesse or agile.
So, yeah, I think this is definitely something that you're going to have to speak with your GM about. Is it hard to BS a finesse spear? Probably not. Is it wise, though? I can't say that a GM should allow that.
Yeah, because that could be kind of breaking because you have a reach weapon with all the other stuff on top of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I'll make this, as a GM myself, I would make this balance caveat, Reeps.
Mm-hmm.
If I was playing this game and you were at my table, which would be really dope, and you're like, I want to make a spear-based swashbuckler, but I want a spear that's finesse. Dope, but it's got to be a short spear. No reach benefit, but you still get the spear, and you get all the benefits with that. Also, Malice is saying, "Hey, Magus Swashbuckler, so glad you brought that up, Malice, because I made a Gestalt in first edition Pathfinder that was a Magus Swashbuckler.
Oh.
It was broken."
Malgus is also saying that Elven Curve Blade, two-handed finesse.
Ooh, yeah, that could work. That could absolutely work. Oh, yeah, we could use that as a baseline.
Yeah.
But moving right along, Michael, do you want to hit that keen flare right there?
Sure. Keen Flare. You inflict particularly devastating attacks on even well-defended foes. When you strike with a weapon or unarmed attack with which you have master proficiency, if you roll a 19 on the die and the roll is a success, you critically succeed instead.
Ooh. Ooh, okay, now this is interesting because Pathfinder 2nd Edition has this amazing rule where, and I thank Michael for bringing this rule to my attention because I did not know that this rule existed. But this is rules is written core. If you attempt a skill check or attempt to attack a DC or an AC or whatever, and if the die face is not a 20, but you are 10 points above the number, it is, let's say, a dirty crit. It is a critical, mathematically, mechanically speaking, but it's not an actual crit.
Yeah,
So,
like I needed to tell that to PJ because a lot of the investigators' abilities kind of hinges on that.
yeah. And this is really fun because, like, there are so many mechanics in this game that are based on, like Michael's saying, based on the what if you crit question. And it sucks because in so many other games, there's such a limited factor to allow you to critically hit something. And this makes it more fluid,
Yeah.
not broken. I like this. But this is weird because this lets you crit on a 19 up. Now, if your bonuses to hit are on par with everything in the campaign so far, a 19 up is probably still going to crit just because it would probably be 10 points above their AC.
Yeah.
But I guess this ensures it still. So I don't know. I feel weird about it. I feel like it.
I
made it for the win.
feel it needs some clarifying down the road.
Yeah, I would.
Or just make it a dirty crit. Honestly, it just makes more sense. It's just a dirty crit.
Because I feel like a 19 on the die face is probably already going to get you a dirty crit.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this, and Maynard probably knows about this, because we used to play D&D and Pathfinder back in the day when I was on the East Coast, but, like, there's a thing called crit fishing, and you guys may know about crit fishing as well. In first edition Pathfinder, you could crit depending on your weapon. Your weapon had a specific crit range. So let's say you're using a rapier. A rapier's crit range is 18 to 20 die face. If you roll those numbers, you're going to crit. 18 up, not bad.
Mm-hmm.
It gets silly. Let's say you put keen on that rapier. And I know Rip Psyche was psyched about keen. Putting keen on a rapier gives you a crit range of 15 to 20. That means you have a, give me a second, I want to say 33% chance, give or take, a 33% chance of critting per attack. So I feel like they're trying to do a crit fish thing here, but it feels kind of redundant because I feel like a 19 die face would just give you a dirty crit anyway.
Yeah. Jzo in chat is saying if you roll a 19 or 20 on your third attack would be awesome. You
know what, Jzo? You make a very good point. Jayazo, I stand corrected. That's actually very, very smart. What they're saying is that because when your third attack hits, you're going to have, depending on your penalties, like a -6 or
Yeah.
something. -4, -6, depending on how you build your character. And that could really hurt you in the end.
Yeah,
But
but
if you
I
roll a
kind of want to
19 on the
counter.
die
Yeah,
phase,
I want to counter with that. With at level 15, that should not mean it should be that dire. Should not be that dire.
I mean, yeah, but also keep in mind as your bonuses to hit are going up, so too are the monster's AC.
True.
I've seen some monsters with an AC in the 40s. It's stupid. But
Yeah.
when you have things like this, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Jay Alzo. That's a really good point you made.
Oh,
Now let's.
Penguin Witch
Oh,
Doctor is saying, thankfully, improved crit and keen do not stack.
ah, awesome. That is good to know, Penguin Witch Doctor. Thank you very much. So the 19 die up or 19 die face up crit does not stack with keen.
Mm-hmm.
That is good to know. Malice says I've missed the days when it did. Right.
Mm-hmm. Let's continue. Let's
Move it on. We're having some fun, but we gotta focus on this amazing class. Resolve. Your proficiency rank for will saves increased to master, and whenever you get a normal success, you get a crit success instead on a will saves.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. Now the two capstone 19th level features. You want to take the Eternal Confidence?
All right, Eternal Confidence. As a swashbuckler, at the peak of your skill, you swell with confidence and bravo in every attack. Your proficiency rank for your swashbuckler class DC increases to master. When you strike as part of a finisher or opportune riposte, you can give the strike failure effect from the confident finisher action, including the increase from precise finisher. If you have that feat, you can do so only if the strike uses a weapon or unarmored attack that you would use for confident finisher.
Hold on, I gotta figure this out. You can strike the failure. You can give the strike the failure effect from the confident finisher action, including the increase from. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Because right now, what it sounds like is you can force yourself to fail automatically and do only half damage. What I think they're saying, now granted, taking a safety is always good, but what I think is saying is that you get to combine the failure effect of confident finisher, that half damage, with the precise finisher ability.
Mm-hmm. It's
so
kind of, I kind of
like,
want to say it's like a damaged version of Assurance.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think that's what it is. So let's go with that. Let's go with that for now. Basically, what they're saying is that if you're like, I'm not going to hit this guy, I'm going to purposely do half damage. That's not bad. That is a guaranteed strike, which can be dope if, like Jayazo was saying, you're on your third strike in the multi-attack, and you just don't want to bother with that massive fat penalty. You can be like, one strike, two strike, you know what, Assurance.
PJ. Or if you're fighting something that's invisible.
Ooh.
Or something that you can't usually hit.
Yeah.
Or something ethereal.
Yeah. I mean, obviously things like because it's an assurance to the hit. Okay, there it is. Holy crap. All right, Paizo, now that I fully understand the tactical implications of this 19th level capstone ability, I get it. I get it now.
Yeah, like, honestly, when I first read this myself, I felt it was lackluster until we just now talked it through a little bit. Then I was like, oh, dang. Mm-hmm. That's actually really good. Oh boy.
Yeah, this one's a sleeper hit, folks. Don't sleep on level 19 because basically you get an assurance to an attack. I think it's one action, though. It's a one-action assurance. So, like Jayazo was saying earlier, you're on your third strike. And if you roll 19 up, you crit. But what if you don't want to even bother with that? You get a guaranteed hit, no penalty. That's insane.
Yeah. Honestly, at this point, your base damage is already going to be huge already. It's going to be a lot.
Let me do a quick and dirty math. I want to say a rapier in this edition is either 1d8 or 1d6 because I know I've seen different numbers. Let's just go with the 1d6 variant for now. So it's 1d6 for your rapier. Please correct me, chat, if I'm wrong. 1d6 plus level 20. I'll give you a full 20 dexterity, so that's 5, even though it could be 22 at that point. So it's 1d6 plus 5. With a panache point, that is a bonus of 10. So now you have 1d6 plus 15. With your mastery or legendary status of using blades, that could be either 6 or an 8. So that's 1d6 plus 1d6 plus 21. And then you have to factor in the fact that your weapon by level 20 should be a +3 weapon. So that's
and precise strike is 5d6 at that point as well.
Yeah, I'm just going for the basic blow, and then we'll add that in. So it's 1d6 plus 21. So it's 1d6 plus 20. No. 4d6 plus 24. At level 20, you should on average be doing 4d6 plus 24 damage per one strike. Then, if you decide you're going to dump your precise strike on this guaranteed hit for half damage, sure, but still, you're going to be doing 10d6 plus 24, half of that. What?
Yeah.
And we haven't even gotten to the feats yet. That's just features. This is bonkers. Paizo, good on you, man. You made...
Hey, PJ, really quick. Mater just subscribed with us with Prime. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Mater. I really appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so much for your subscription.
Maynard's also asking how many panache points would a level 19 Swashbuckler have at their disposal. It's not really points. It's you either have panache or you don't.
Yeah, this is kind of one of the cool things about the second edition. In first edition, you had a pool of points, right? So as you're doing your things, you have this economy that you can kind of spend. What's cool about the Swashbuckler is that you only get 1 point, but it only takes one action to get that point back. So you're constantly buying and spending with your 3-action economy. You can basically set yourself up to have a precision strike, dump it on someone, and then get it back within the same turn.
Yeah.
And there's no reason not to. It's amazing.
Oh, I also want to point out Reef Psyche saying damage boogie. Exactly.
Yeah. It's a dance, my friend. And the last 19th level thing is you're now a master in armor, light armor. Who cares? Yeah. Who cares when you have assurance on striking people? What? Anyway, let's go to the feats and just see how far this rabbit hole of stabbing really goes, shall we?
All right. Do you want to start it off or should I?
Yeah, I'll start it off.
All right.
First level, Buckler, expertise. When you use Raise a Shield to gain a circumstance bonus to AC from a buckler, the bonus is increased from a 1 to a 2. That is awesome because that buckler is very, very light, and this feat basically makes it a medium class shield.
Yeah.
That's great.
Also, I'm just envisioning Captain America's Black Panther shield from what is it? The last movie. Endgame. Yeah. Endgame.
Infinity War. Endgame, he had all glory back.
Yeah.
Infinity War, he had the T'Challa front line, and in Endgame, he got all glory back. That's right. Do you want to take Disarming Flare?
All right. Disarming Flare. It's harder for your foes to regain their grip when you knock their weapon partially out of their hands. When you succeed on an athletics check to disarm, the circumstance bonus and penalty from disarm lasts until the end of your next turn, instead of until the beginning of the target's next turn. The target can use an interact action to adjust their grip and remove this effect. If your Swashbuckler is a gymnast and you succeed on your athletics check to disarm a foe, you gain panache.
Very nice. So, more ways to get panache. And again, you have that reaction ability that lets you disarm a foe as a reaction. So now you're getting panache not even on your turn. So I guess this is why you want that 10 hit points per class level, because now you kind of want to get into the fight with this.
Yeah.
The second one, I want to say what it is, and I don't want to say a meme I thought was hilarious when doing research for images. So this one is Dueling Parry. Not Katy Perry, but Dueling Parry. It is a 1-action ability. It's a feat, so you have to choose it if you want it. Requirements. You are wielding only a single one-handed melee weapon, and you have your other hands free. You can parry attacks against you with your weapon. You get a +2 circumstance bonus to armor class until the start of your next turn, as long as you continue to meet the requirements. So now you have a raise a shield action without having a shield. That means you don't have to worry about HP.
I
You don't have to
actually
worry about
want to
breaking
take this.
thresholds.
I want to take this
It's
because
really,
this
really
is
good.
also one of those feats where it's a feat tree. This feeds into another feat at a later level.
Ooh, and this combined with that reaction means you're going to be parrying a lot.
You'll be Katy parrying a lot.
So the dumb meme I saw. Here's a gem from the internet. The picture is the Flash running, and the thing says, "Hi, I'm Perry Allen, and I'm the panacheest man alive." I love it. I love it. It's dumb and I love it.
All right. The next one is Flying Blade, which is a level 1 feat. You have to have a precise strike, which you're going to get as a level 1 swashbuckler anyway, so no worries there.
Mm-hmm.
You learn to apply your flashy techniques to thrown weapons as easily as melee attacks. When you have panache, you apply your precise strike damage on range attacks you make with a thrown weapon within the weapon's first range increment. The thrown weapon must be an agile or finesse weapon. This also allows you to make a thrown weapon strike for confident finisher and any other finisher that includes a strike that could benefit from your precise strike.
So basically, if you want to build a ranged weapon swashbuckler, this gives you that ability. And it's nice, but if you don't want to do that, don't take the feat.
Yeah.
Or
if you just want to throw your rapier at them.
Yeah, if you want to. I wouldn't recommend it though. That's just me.
No, maybe your character just has he's carrying around a barrel of rapiers, just
I can see that. I kind of love the idea though, like having a swashbuckler just be like a pirate knife thrower, like 3 whole bandoliers of knives, and just be like throwing them.
That,
everywhere.
or honestly, you're in a combat situation. There's gonna be other people with weapons. Just take their weapons and throw them.
Also not a bad idea. I do like that. And Reap Psyche suggested I put that wonderful trash meme in the Discord. If you have our Discord, you can go to it now and go to At the Table where that wonderful trash meme is. If you need the link for the Discord, don't worry, I'll put it up in just a second. But next up, we have Focused Fascination. Make sure you get the Fascinating Performance feat first. When you're using Fascinating Performance in a combat encounter, you only need a success, rather than a critical success, to fascinate your target. This works only if you're attempting to fascinate one target, though. For example, if you were an expert in performance, you could choose to target multiple creatures normally, or target one creature and fascinate it on a success. So this is great if you are a battle dancer. Basically, this allows you to fascinate one target easier, or non-fascinate but still affect multiple targets at once. It's a weird shock. It's like a buckshot versus a slug, if you know what I'm talking about.
PJ.
Yeah.
Look at the screen. Look at what I'm pointing at.
you got that, don't you?
I have that as one of the feats I'm going to take for Swashbuckler.
Nice. Love it.
All right.
I think that's going to be necessary. And also, I kind of want to see the group coercion too. So everyone.
Golding Feint is the next level 1 feat. You've got to have. You must be trained in deception first. When you trick a foe, you can goad them into overextending their next attack. On a feint, you can use the following success and critical effects instead of any other effects that you would gain when you feint. If you do, other abilities that adjust the normal effects of your feint no longer apply. You can choose whether to use goading feint benefits or the normal benefits each time you feint a chosen foe. On a critical success, the target gets a -2 circumstance penalty to all attacks against you before the end of its next turn, and on a success, the target takes a -2 circumstance penalty to its next attack against you before the end of its next turn.
So just roll a feint and you're going to impose a -2, whether it's once or for all strikes until your next turn. It's a free debuff. Like, not only are you probably stronger than a rogue, but now you have more freedom and flexibility than some of the core mechanics that bards get. This
Yeah.
class, and this goes with the braggart. This pairs lovely with a vintage red braggart. Fighting style goes well with potatoes and
I kind of want to say this. A lot of the level 1 feats, the early level feats of Swashbuckler is actually really strong.
Like this next one, Nimble Dodge. A creature you can see targets you with an attack. Requirements, you aren't encumbered, which you probably won't be. A reaction, you just get +2 bonus against the attack. Like that. You can combine this with other abilities, I'm sure, if they stack. Well, yeah, dueling parries on reaction. Either way, you're hard to hit. And for someone who has a lot of HP, you're going to be dodging all the time. It's this beautiful marriage of things. Oh, my God.
The next one is definitely for all you Musketeer fans out there.
I got to put my hat on for this.
Yeah, put on your hat. Put on your hat. With precisely the right words of encouragement, you bolstered an ally's efforts. Designate an ally within 30 feet. This action counts as a significant per aid to that ally. When you use the aid reaction to help that ally, you can roll diplomacy in place of that usual skill check. If your Swashbuckler style is wit and your diplomacy check to aid meets or exceeds the very hard DC of your level, you gain panache. So, you're kind of like a bard at this point now also, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, you give a rousing speech or going like, hey, you're doing a great job. I appreciate your efforts. And boom, give them a buff.
Yeah, the fact that you can provide aid in combat at a range of 30 feet, and for doing so gives you a panache point, is insane. And if you're already a wit person, why wouldn't you take this?
You're basically Oprah. You get aid. You get aid. Everybody get aid.
Be very careful how you say that.
I know. I did not use the letter S.
I'm deplorable. The last level 1 feat. You're next. It's a reaction. Train intimidation. You reduce an enemy to 0 hit points. After downing a foe, you promise another that you're coming after them. Attempt an intimidation check with a +2 bonus to demoralize a single creature that you can see that can see you. If you are legendary in intimidation, you can use this as a free action with the same trigger. So, if you're legendary in intimidation, which means you're probably endgame doing the 4d6 plus 24, as you previously mentioned, and you murder a person, you can then, for free, intimidate them with a +2 bonus on top of your already stupid high bonus for a legendary intimidation. And then, as an actual reaction, you can do, I don't know, any other reactionary buffs that you can provoke. It's insane.
Yeah.
Now there may not be any, but who knows? It's still the idea, the concept is insane.
I just also want to point out in chat, folks are saying Porthos forever. Yes, Porthos, in my opinion, has always been my favorite Musketeer. Oliver Pratt, the Disney version, is my favorite Musketeer movie. Seriously.
I agree. I love the Disney version. That was my version growing up as a kid. I will give a wink and a nod to, the ones that were actually based on Dumas' book. I can't remember.
And also, if you haven't seen it, the BBC version of the Musketeers is great.
Is that the one with Michael York?
I think so. I know. I actually watched it when I decided to multi-class into Swashbuckler.
Also, Reap Psyche, I'm glad that you saw it. I wanted to say something earlier and I forgot it. I also used to do a lot of fight choreography for movies back east. And so, again, I hear you. Sometimes stuff that would actually work in a fight is just too brutal and short. Yeah. It's not interesting.
Yeah, my favorite scene in the Disney version was when Oliver Pratt's character basically pulls at Indiana Jones. The big pirate swings a sword and everything. Then Oliver Pratt's going, it just stomps down and plank right there up his groin.
So good. No Sydney Hightower. The Disney version was the live action one.
Yeah,
I can't, now that I think about it, I
with
can't
Charlie
recall
Sheen, Oliver Pratt, and Kiefer Sutherland.
Now, don't forget Robin from Batman and
Yep.
Robin, Chris O'Donnell. Oh,
Mhm.
and Tim Curry as
Yeah,
Cardinal Richelieu. Yeah. Wow. Just star-studded cast. Go
so
check it
great.
out.
It's so good. But anyway, the next one we're going to level 2 feats. After you. This one is, I believe, free action. The trigger is you're about to roll initiative. You allow your foes to make the first. You allow your foe to make the first move in a show of incredible confidence. This is definitely something Rufo would do. You don't roll initiative. Instead, you voluntarily go last. You gain panache. If more than one character uses this ability or another ability to go last, use the normal rules for resolving a tie. NPCs and monsters act before PCs and within those groups. The creature can choose whichever order they want.
I love this. I'm just imagining a team of all swashbucklers going, after you. No, I dare say after you. Oh, no, please, after you. Oh, age before beauty. Oh, but grace before brawn. And just the bunch of the monsters going, do we kill them right now? Sure, I guess.
No, that's total. This is total swashbuckler attitude.
It's just so goofy. I love it. Antagonize. Your taunts and threats earn your foes ire. When you successfully demoralize a creature, its frightened condition can't decrease to less than 1 at the end of its turn until it either uses a hostile action against you or it can no longer observe you for at least 1 round. You get a fear effect that does not go away. What? Now, granted, it does if they beat you up or they can't see you anymore, but with all of your tumbling through actions, with everything else you're doing, you now, as long as they don't hit you, you now have a permanent fear 1 on your target. What?
Yeah, like I said, battlefield control.
You want to hit that sweet charmed life?
All right, charm life. This is a reaction. You have to have charisma 14 before you can take this feat, and the trigger is you attempt a saving throw, but you haven't rolled it yet. When danger calls, you have a strange knack for coming out on top. You gain a +2 bonus to the triggering save. +2 to whatever save you're about to do. That's great.
That's really good, especially if they're like, with all your stupid evasion abilities. Good God, that's nothing. Ain't no dragon gonna breathe on you. Finishing follow through. Finishing a foe maintains your swagger. You gain panache if your finisher brings the target to 0 HP, or brings the highest level target to 0 HP if your finisher attacks multiple targets. So now, because in the past, whenever you kill someone, you didn't get panache. You just got to use that, the battle dancer to move an extra 5 feet after killing someone. Now, you can get your panache back for killing someone. You basically become, oh god, what are they called? There's a prestige class of 3.5, and they're also in first edition. I want to say they're called dervishes.
Yeah.
Dervishes. You become one of those for just a feat. Their entire mechanic
An early level
is now free. Oh yeah, at level 2. What the hell? The broken ear is back. I agree. The broken ear is broken.
All right.
Paizo, don't fix. It's perfect.
The next one is okay. You already said the finishing follow through, right?
Yes, sir.
All right then. Give me a second because I'm on a tablet, and now I can't find where I'm at. There it is.
Do you want me to come?
I got it. I found it. The next one is tumble behind. Your tumbling catches your foe off guard. When you tumble through successfully, the foe you tumble through is flat-footed against your next attack you make before the end of your turn. Once again, your rogue's best friend.
Yeah. Now, I think this flat-footed only applies to the swashbuckler.
Oh yeah, true.
However, you can start your action with an acrobatics check to tumble through, get a panache point, and now, technically speaking, they are massively exposed for you to just drop this attack back on them.
Honestly, or if you have, if you're archetype rogue.
Yeah, and then you don't even have to spend the panache point. You can just drop a sneak attack.
Yep.
Penguin Witch Doctor. First of all, I love your name. Secondly, Penguin Witch Doctor, I love your point. You're next and finishing follow through with antagonize. Absolutely. You create this system where you're constantly killing people and keeping yourself buffed. It is chef kiss ridiculous. Unbalanced finisher. It's one action. You attack with a flashy assault that leaves your target off balance. Make a melee strike. If you hit and deal damage, so DR will be a headache for this one, the target is flat-footed until the end of your next turn. You want to really be the rogue's best friend? Unbalancing finisher makes them flat-footed to everyone until the end of your next turn. So even you get a slice of that sweet, sweet flat-foot pie. That sounds disgusting. Flat-foot pie.
Honestly, this combined with the After You feat.
Oh my God, yes. Because then, well, you can't combine them sadly because they're both level 2. But maybe you can drop a level down. Well, it's great, but after you, the rogue. And the rogue's like, whatever. Maybe twin weapon feint, who cares? And then you're like, my turn! And you just flat-foot them. And then the rogue's like, just like salivates, like, I'm gonna get that sneak attack. Let's do a level 4, flamboyant athletes.
Yeah, this is another one that I'm planning on taking. Your panache allows you to perform incredible feats, climbing, swimming, and leaping beyond your normal capacity while you have panache. You gain the following benefits. You gain climb and swim speeds equal to half your land speed. The DC of your high jumps and low jumps are decreased by 10. This isn't combined with other abilities that reduce those DCs. The distance you can move with a vertical leap increases 5 feet. Your distance for a horizontal leap increases to 15 feet if your speed is at least 15 feet, or to 20 feet if your speed is at least 30 feet.
Yeah, again, this is a big one for being mobile, and this just gives you more options on how to be mobile in combat. I saw Maynard's question. I wonder how easy it would be to disrupt the flow as a DM. I think, honestly, that really comes down to the player. Like, yes, there are ways a DM could probably ruin it for you. Difficult terrain, creatures that are immune to certain physical actions, such as tripping, for whatever reason. But really, the big deterrent here is going to be your dice rolls. If your rolls are just not feeling the pepper, you're going to lose the flow. So, yes, as a DM, or GM, I can try to actively remove you from your rhythm. But first, I'm going to give 2 rounds to see if your dice just don't do that for you. And also, salivating rogues. I like that. Make that a meme. Salivating rogue with their big pirate hit, sneak attack, trying to think of a pirate joke for sneak attack. Sneak attack one's a pirate joke. Not going to work hard for that.
Backstab.
Guardians, backstab the aft deck.
The backstabbers.
I know boat words. All right. Guardian's deflection reaction. Trigger an ally within your attack is hit by an attack. You can see the attacker and a +2 circumstance bonus to AC would turn the critical hit into a hit or miss. Oh, that's a very complicated one. Let me rephrase this. Someone gets crit in your party and you give them a buff and then the crit no longer works. God. Requirements. You roll really a single one-handed melee weapon and have your other hands free. You use your weapon to deflect the attack against your ally, giving the +2 bonus against the attack. Turns a triggering critical hit into a hit and a hit into a miss. So basically what it comes down to is that you kind of work like the Redeemer champion in that you are now actively trying to protect someone in the party. However, this is only a +2 to hit. And if that would make it miss, then it looks like it drops the success rate of the hit down a level. Hold on. That can't be right. +2 bonus to the AC against a triggering attack. Oh, wait, what? Okay, Paizo, okay, this one's weird. You give +2 to your teammate. And then it just takes the significance of the blow down a notch. So why give them a +2 to AC where because if it would, okay, never mind, I answered my own question. So you give them a +2 to AC. No matter what, it's going to take the severity of the strike down a peg. So if it crits, but they still have the +2, it's now normal damage, which is actually very, very good. If it's a normal hit, it's now automatically a miss, which is kind of insane. This is, I think, one of the best defensive buffs I've ever seen at 4th level. Because you get a guaranteed protection from a hit. Anyway, let's move on, shall we?
All right, the next one is Impaling Finisher. This is a 1-action ability at level 4. You stab 2 foes with a single thrust or bash them together with 1 punch. Make a bludgeoning or piercing melee strike and compare the attack roll result against the AC of up to 2 foes. 1 foe must be adjacent to you, and the other foe must be adjacent to and directly behind the first foe, in a straight line from your space. Roll damage once and apply it to each creature you hit. An Impaling Finisher counts as 2 attacks when calculating your multiple attack penalty.
So it's nice. It's kind of like 2-Weapon Feint in that it's one ability that can hit twice, stacks up a multi-attack penalty. Later in the game, I could see it being nice with the assurance on the strike.
Yeah. And this one's also one of those things where you have like a line. Kind of like with that one spell where they have to be in a line in front of you to work.
Yeah. It's also really the only melee AoE you're probably going to ever get, which is nice. Although I have this thing I call Breaking Disgaea 101. If they're lined up in a straight line, then they're morons. But that's your opportunity to kill them. So take that. Get that with what you will. Leading Dance. It's 1 action. You are trained in performance. So if you're Mr. Rufa, you are adjacent to an enemy. You sweep your foe into your dance, attempt a performance check against an adjacent enemy's will DC. If your Swashbuckler style is Battle Dancer, and you succeed, you gain a panache. Critical success, your foe is swept up in your dance. You both move up to 10 feet in the same direction, remaining adjacent to one another. You are literally tangoing with your enemy.
I'm thinking of taking this. I am seriously thinking of taking this because, especially once we start using battle mats.
Yeah, and your movement does not trigger reactions from the target. So you can basically force someone to move 10 feet in any direction, and they cannot.
You can force someone to go off a cliff or into some caltrops.
And here's the crazy thing: on a success, a non-critical success, it's the exact same thing. Except instead of 10 feet, it's 5 feet. Not great. Still, free enemy movement with no detriment.
And as a character who does performance a lot. Yeah, your performance is going to be way high.
And the critical failures are kind of funny just because the image it paints in my head. If you fail to dance with them, the foe doesn't follow your steps. You can move 5 feet if you choose, but this movement triggers reactions normally. So it's like, imagine someone's calling like, "Hello, my lady, do you know the box step?" And she's like, "Ew, no, purse gun, bang." And then the critical failure is hilarious. You stumble and fall prone. You're like, "Hey, what?" And you just biff it. You just eat dirt.
I like this is what Sydney in chat is saying. You are Gomez Adams.
Yes, which is funny because when we were making Rufa, I think we were discussing one of the really cool ideas. Like, oh yeah, what if he's like an Asian on Gomez Adams? Like that'd be so dope. Or like wherever Grazie is from.
Grasset.
Grasset, thank you for the correction. Swaggering Initiative. I think I read the last one. Please, would you take Swaggering Initiative?
All right, Swaggering Initiative. It's a free action, I believe, and the trigger is you're about to roll initiative. You swagger readily into a fight, even an ambush. So you go into ambush with style. You gain a +2 circumstance bonus to your initiative roll, and you can interact. To draw a weapon.
Yeah, so this is great because the ambush is not having really much of an effect on you, and 2, you don't have to use an action to draw your weapon. You can start the combat with a better initiative bonus, and your weapon already drawn. It's pretty nice. Now, granted, it's very niche, but it's very good in those niche moments.
It's circumstantial.
Twin Parry. Not to be confused with Perry Allen. It's 1 action. It's the dumbest meme. I will use it for life. It's 1 action. You have to be holding 2 weapons, 1 in each hand. You use your weapons to parry. You get a +1 bonus to AC until the start of your next turn, or a 2 circumstance bonus if both weapon has the parry trait. You lose the circumstance bonus if you no longer meet this feat's requirement. It's very much like the other parry feature, but it requires you to have 2 pairing weapons, which I guess is nice, but I think in second edition, you don't attack with both weapons on a strike. You have to choose one or the other.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have.
This is honestly, I know this is for those people. You know these people who want to take what, two rapiers, or at least 1 rapier and a dagger or something, and dual wield.
Yeah.
This is for them.
You know, come to think of it, there is an archetype in this exact same book for a dual weapon wielder. So I will say if the benefits from that archetype combined with this playstyle are worth it, then this could very much be a worthwhile bonus. But that being said, we're way behind. So let's get to 6th level feats because we got 14 more levels of feats to discuss.
All right, the next one is agile maneuvers. You have to be an expert in athletics. You easily maneuver against your foes. Your grapple, shove, and trip actions have a lower multiple attack penalty. -4 instead of -5 if they are the second attack on your turn. -8 instead of -10 if they are the third or subsequent attack of your turn.
So it's not bad. That's news to me. I did not know that athletics checks got multiple attack penalties, but hey, unfortunately now I know. Next up, attack of opportunity. You get attack of opportunity. Pretty straightforward. If you ever played any game where these things exist, you can do it. You can do it at level 6, but you have to take the feat. I know that this sucks for a lot of people because we've been kind of spoiled by having attacks of opportunity at the wazoo, especially in 3.5 and Pathfinder First Ed, where we could have multiple attacks of opportunity around. What I like about attacks of opportunity being so rare in this is that they finally encourage players to move in combat. How many times have you been in a fight, you smack them once, and you're like, crap, now I can't move. If I move, they're going to smack me for free. You can finally now have some flexibility. Now, it sucks that a Swashbuckler gets at level 6 when the fighter gets at level 1, and I think the champion gets at level 3. Mm-hmm. But considering how many parries you get, I think that's okay.
An issue.
Yeah.
All right. The next one is combination finisher. You combine a series of attacks with powerful finishing blows. Your finisher strikes have a lower multiple attack penalty, -4 or -3 with an agile weapon. If it's a second attack of your turn, or -8 or -6 with an agile weapon. If it's the third or subsequent attack of your turn instead of -5 and -10. So it's kind of like the athletic thing that we just talked about, but with regular attacks.
Actually, I think specifically with your finishers. So if you use a finisher after a combo chain, or use a finisher and then I think start the combo chain, you don't get as many penalties on the finisher. Yeah. Not bad. And yeah, Penguin Witch Doctor. I like dueling parry over twin parry. I agree, Penguin Witch Doctor. I also prefer dueling parry over twin parry. I think it's just better build-wise. Again, unless dual wielder is just such a sweet archetype that would make using 2 weapons necessary, I don't see a point. Precise finisher. You have to have the confident finisher, which I believe you already get at level 1. When you avoid foes with your confident finisher, you can still hit a vital spot. On a failure with confident finisher, you apply your full precise strike damage instead of half. At level 6. Michael.
Yes.
I'm having a stroke. At level 6. So remember that 19th Caststone ability where you can take an assurance to deal half damage?
Yeah.
Now you don't take half damage anymore. And it's not an action cost. You just do it. Well, okay, so let me be more specific here. It's not that your whole weapon doesn't get better. It's just that your precision damage is no longer halved. So maybe the weapon and the enhancement bonuses, those are still getting halved. But your precision damage, which endgame is going to be 66, is still full for free. What?
Yeah. I
What?
I
Okay.
think I think that's why this feat is in place to make your capstone that much stronger, because I think if it's just the capstone itself, that'd just be so unbalancing.
I mean, the capstone's already unbalanced. I mean, like I said, endgame, you're going to be doing 10d6 plus 24 damage a strike. The
Yeah.
fact you get that assured at half damage, oh no. But now it's like at least 66 of that 10d6 is no longer halved. That's more than half of the total.
Yeah.
I love this. I love this.
Mhm.
I am having an appreciation panic attack. I appreciate it so much. I'm having a breakdown. Anyway,
All right, the next one is vexing thumble. You have to it's a one action feat. You tumble around your foes, expertly avoiding their reactions. Stride up to half your speed and roll an athletics check. Compare the results to the reflex DC of each foe whose reach you began in or entered during combat in sequence. If you have a critical success, this movement doesn't trigger reactions from the foe. The foe is flat-footed to you until the end of your turn, and you gain panache. Success, the movement doesn't trigger reactions from the foe, and you gain panache. And critical failure is your movement immediately stops, and when you enter the creature's reach, if you began in the creature's reach, you don't move.
yeah, that's pretty awesome. The fact that on a critical success, which again is just 10 above the DC, not only do you move through multiple targets, at least up to, I think, double your stride. No, normal stride. So your normal movement. So about 30 plus feet, depending on your panache point. You get to move through at least 30 plus feet and do an acrobatics check at the same time. And if you critically success it, no one gets to do any triggered actions. They're all flat-footed to you, and you get a panache in case you lost it anyway. That's not bad for mobility builds. If you want to be a
Yeah.
mobile build, this is awesome. It's not as disgusting as Precise Finisher, but then again, what could be? 8th level. Bleeding Finisher. This is for you people that like the long con. If you want to throw dots on people, it's one action. You're going to do a finisher. Let's see here. Make a slashing or piercing strike with a weapon or unarmed attack that follows you to add your allows you to add your precise strike damage. So basically, just use a finisher. If you hit, the target takes persistent bleed damage equal to your precise strike finisher damage. Which means, again, endgame, and I know I'm really looking lofty here, but just to get the range of this, it starts at 2d6 bleed damage persistent, which means it will only go away when that dragon takes medical assistance.
Yeah.
Or at level 20, where it does 66 bleed damage every round until that dragon gets medical attention. That's on top of the other damage you're already doing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you strike them,
mm-hmm.
you still get the damage.
Yeah,
You're not
the
hitting
finishers for Swashbucklers are redonkulous. And I also really want to point this out. Sydney saying, Michael, I'm having a stroke is my new favorite quote interaction on the show.
I love brief psyche here. An affection infraction, but that's a heart attack, not a stroke. Gotta work on that one. It's all right. It's an appreciation breakdown. I love it so much, my brain can't handle how much I love it so much.
All right, the next one is another finisher, dual finisher. You split your attacks. You make 2 melee strikes, one with each required weapon, each against a different foe. If the second strike is made with a non-agile weapon, it takes a -2 penalty. Increase your multiple attack penalty only after attempting both strikes.
So, this goes back into the question about, is a dual wielder worth it with a swashbuckler?
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of that's going to go into the benefits you get from the dual wielder archetype. Because you cannot stack this damage onto one target. But considering you're attacking twice for one action and no penalties, if you're using agile finesse weapons, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I
want you to read the next one.
So.
I want you to read the next one because I want to get your reaction from it.
Oh no, nimble.
This is the one I was talking about before.
Oh god, you have to get nimble dodge. It's that nice chain feat there. You can use nimble dodge before attempting a reflex save. You can use nimble dodge Before attempting a reflex save, you're already getting bonuses for free. If you do, the circumstance bonus applies to your reflex save against a triggering effect. So you're getting bonuses on top of bonuses. When you use Nimble Dodge and the triggering attack fails or critically fails, or when you succeed or critically succeed at the saving throw, you can also move up to an extra 10 feet as part of the reaction. If you do, the reaction gains the move trait. You can use Nimble Roll with flying or swimming instead of running if you have the corresponding movement type. So y'all who want to play flying bird swashbucklers, you can now fly away from a fireball with so many fat bonuses. God damn.
Actually, PJ, that wasn't what I was talking about. At least from what I'm reading, there's another feat. I guess I'll read it.
Oh, you're talking about the stunning finisher?
No. It's one called Flamboyant Cruelty.
Where is that?
It's actually from the Legends book.
Oh, it's not in the advanced.
Yeah. Should I at least talk about it really quick?
Please, I'm excited.
All right, this is a level 8 feat. This is a rare feat. This is a feat I could definitely see Rufa having. Flamboyant Cruelty. You love to kick your enemies when they're down, and you look fabulous when you do. When you make a melee strike, weapon strike against a foe that is at least 2 of the following conditions, you gain a circumstance bonus to your damage roll equal to the number of those conditions the foe has. The qualifying conditions are clumsy, drained, enfeebled, frightened, sickened, and stupefied. If you hit such a foe, you gain a +1 circumstance bonus to skill checks to tumble through and to perform your style's panache, granting actions until the end of your turn.
Okay, hold up. Wait, I'm having a stroke, Michael. What I'm hearing is the more debuffs from that list that are on the target, the bonus to damage, and you also get a bonus to hit on top of everything else.
Yep,
with
skills to tumble through and gain your panache.
Oh my god! I can see why that's in the legendary book and not in this book. God bless America.
Yeah.
So
in chat we got Reap Psyche going, Rufa, no. And Sydney going, oh, this is so Rufa.
I can see that. Yeah, no, that's a good one. I'm gonna jump up to stunning finisher.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be nearly as good as that brutal finisher. It's one action. It's a finishing strike. You attempt a dizzying blow. Make a melee strike. If you hit, your foes must attempt a fortitude save against your class DC. And the following results, the save has the incapacitation trait. So you hit them. They have to make a fort save against your class DC. Critical success, the target's unaffected. Success, the target can't use reactions until its next turn. So even if it succeeds, it still has a debuff. Failure, they're stunned 1. Critical failure, they're stunned for 3 rounds, or for 3 values of stunned if they try to shrug it off, or someone puts a spell on them to shrug it off. And the save has the incapacitation trait. So even as they are doing it, they're getting negatives against it for other values because of the incapacitation trait. That's really good for crowd control and damage. So if you want to do both, this is a good marriage. Yeah. But you could just do bleeding finisher and bleed them dry.
Yeah. The next one, like I said, honestly, the Swashbuckler is Rufa if he was a melee combat damage character. Seriously. Vicarious Bravo. You have to have gained panache this turn. Your ego swells, granting you a temporary reprieve from pain. You gain temporary hit points equal to your level plus your charisma modifier that lasts until the end of your next turn. So basically, charismatic barbarian.
Yeah, so Vivacious Bravado, 1 action. This is great when you need to be the tank because you have 10 HP like every other tank does. Level 8, I'm going to give you the full charisma of a 20 and say that's a temporary HP of 13 hit points around, provided you have panache. And since panache can be as easy as a reaction or 1 action on your turn, you're going to have a panache point. Yeah. 13 temp HP. That's like a DR 13 every round. A DR 13 all. Because you're just resisting the first 13 points of damage.
And it refills every time you use it.
Yeah, so you dump a panache point, you get a new one, and then you get your 13 hit points back.
Rinse
I mean, your
and
mobility
repeat.
suffers. Yeah, your mobility suffers, but who the hell cares?
Yeah, you're effectively a really good tank. You're a tank with a little
Yeah,
force field. You have a force
yeah,
field of charisma.
and that's just the level that you get it at. 20th level would be 25,
Yeah.
roughly, depending on your charisma modifier. All right, so buckler dance. If you want to be a buckler person, it's one action at level 10. You spin your buckler defensively toward every attack. While you are in this stance, you constantly have your buckler raised, as if you used raise a shield, so long as you meet the action requirements. So it's not bad. Raising a shield is usually one action, and it lasts for roughly about one hit, or at least the person you're raising your shield against. This makes you an AoE. Let me rephrase this. This gives you a defense against all targets around you consecutively instead of just one at a time. Daring Do. You want to hit that one, Michael?
1 second.
Oh, yeah, don't die. I like you alive.
Drink water a little too fast. All right. Daring Do, level 10 feet. When you compound panache with even more when you compound panache with even more Daring Do, because as a swashbuckler, you just don't have enough apparently, it somehow tends to work out. When you already have panache, you can roll twice and use the higher result on checks to which circumstance bonus of having panache applies. Tumble through in any skill actions listed in your swashbuckler style.
So getting panache gives you advantage on the skills that would grant panache. So if you are a battle dancer and have to constantly be moving, or a gymnast and have to constantly be grappling people, you get it. Granted, once you dump the panache point, this ability is gone. But while you have the panache point, keep in mind, you're still doing bonus flat damage for having it. I think at level 10, it's about +4, give or take, damage.
Yeah.
So sure, you're not dropping extra D6s, but you have a massive static bonus to your damage, and you're getting advantage in all the things you'd be doing anyway to get panache. This is
and if you have, like, honestly, if you're a gymnast or a wit, this would be really great.
Absolutely. Just lots of crowd control. Rip Psyche says, I was going to say this entire class reminds me of the pun-based swashbuckling prestige class Elan took. Yeah, I'm probably getting your name wrong. Sorry, Elan. Minard, would it be at all worth it to just keep point the whole time for bonuses? It could be. However, again, you're trading in the static bonuses for a damage burst. So you really have to ask yourself, what is more necessary? Consistent flat damage, or a burst of damage that can be returned in as easily as one action.
It's like going Nova like every turn, but then you just recharge. Like it's like a comic book character is like blast, blast, blast. Okay, recharge. Blast, blast, blast.
It's like in Dragon Ball Z when they shoot a bunch of ki blasts and then charge energy back up, and
it's a Kamehameha. It's a Kamehameha.
Absolutely. Dueling Dance.
Yeah.
One action. More Katy Perry on the track. Dueling Parry. Hi, I'm Perry Allen. You are wielding only a single one-handed melee weapon, and your other hand is free. So I think, like Penguin Witch Doctor mentioned, this goes back into the so far the better of the two parries. Using your free hand as pivot and balance, you both attack and defend with your weapon. While you are in the Dueling Dance stance, you constantly have the benefits of dueling parry. So this gives you, for the cost of one action, you're still allowed to attack and move and do whatever you want, but you're always getting the +2 parry benefit, which I think will also go into your triggered reactions for like riposts and such.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's really good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. All right. The next one is reflective repoussé. You have to have opportune repoussé first. You can repoussé against almost without a thought. At the start of each of your turns, when you regain your actions, you gain additional reaction, which could be used to only perform an opportune repoussé. So basically, you get another action in your action economy. There for this ability.
This is not bad. The reflexive riposte effectively gives you. Yeah. It's okay. I did fencing, so I'm all like, I knew the words. Reflexive riposte gives you a secondary reaction to do another riposte. So, like, yeah, you're not getting all those attacks of opportunity, but you're getting 2 reactions around. That's pretty good, especially if you want to play defensively. So it's good
Yeah.
if you want that build. If you don't, the damage is everywhere. Speaking of which, targeting finisher. One action, it's a finishing strike. Dump that panache point for it. Your attack harms and hinders your foe. Choose a particular part of your foe from the list below and strike. If you hit and damage the target, apply the effect corresponding to the chosen part. You're calling your shots on their body. This hindrance lasts until the end of your next turn. On a critical hit, you can apply a lesser effect that lasts for 1 minute. So if you attack the arm or any limb, such as tentacle, I love that they had to specify tentacle. The target is enfeebled 2. On a critical hit, it is also enfeebled 1 for 1 minute after enfeebled 2 runs out. That's pretty good. Head, the target is stupefied 2. On a critical hit, it is also stupefied 1 for 1 minute. So stupefied is great if you want to debuff a magical class character. Let's say you're fighting an evil necromancer, you're fighting a powerful sorcerer, whatever. When you stupefy them, you're giving them penalties to their casting, which is very specific but very good. Legs. The target takes a 10-foot status penalty to its speed. On a critical hit, it also takes a 5-foot status penalty to its speed, ongoing 1 minute. That's also great if you want to keep them at range. If you are the throwing knife swashbuckler, this is terrific for pinning them and keeping them away.
We have Penguin Witch Doctor saying opportune repose. I said it right this time. Only works on fumbles.
So, Penguin Witch Doctor, when you say fumbles, do you mean like a critical fail fumble or just like a miss?
Yeah, critical fail. It's a critical fail.
We were talking about
It's
which one? Opportune repose. Got it. Yeah. Yes. That's the ability we got back at level 1. That's right. 12
and also,
level.
Maynard is asking, is this the only class that gets a second reaction? I think Investigator actually also gets it through a feat.
I think they do, but I want to say their secondary reaction is for like searches or something. It's for skill checks specifically.
Yeah. But anyway, moving on. Next one is Cheat Death. This one's a reaction. And trigger is you take damage that would reduce you to 0 hit points. Somehow you always escape the Reaper by a hair's breadth. You avoid being knocked out or killed and remain at 1 HP, but you become doomed 1, or increase your doom value by 1 if you're already doomed. You can't reduce or ignore the doom condition from cheating death. The doom condition from cheating death lasts for 10 minutes, though this doesn't affect the duration of any other doom condition you have. So a little insurance. There's a little insurance there for you.
Yeah. Which is nice, because like with all the other stuff that's assurance with these classes, this is great. Looking back at the one on page 86, Penguin Witch Doctor, it just says fumbled, and I know that by some parlance that means a critical failure, but it does not specifically mention a critical miss. So I don't know. I think if you wanted to argue a case, a miss or a critical miss could be applicable, but that's up to your GM.
Mm-hmm.
But moving right along, because that's not the point. The point is mobile finisher. It's an action at level 12. You attack in motion, stride, and then strike. You can use mobile finisher while burrowing, climbing, flying, or swimming. So if, let's say, you're a badger and you want to be a swashbuckler badger, you can burrow and strike instead of the striding at the core. So this one is one action. It costs a panache, and it gives you the ability to move your speed again and attack on the same turn. If you have the previous ability, I'm trying to remember if that's an action or just a passive, the ability that makes sure that when you attack with a finisher, it is less of a penalty for multiple attacks. This would be great if you slaughter 2 people near you and there's one guy like 15, 30 feet away. So you can bop up and then just run up and get him with a finisher for less penalties.
All right, the next one is Flamboyant Leap. It's a 2-action ability. You have to be master in athletics and have flamboyant athlete feat. You also have to be capable of using a finisher, which, it's a swashbuckler feat. You're going to be capable of using a finisher. You stylishly leap and deliver a powerful finisher. Make a leap, high jump, or long jump and attempt one single action finisher at any point during your jump. The finisher can't be one that includes other movements such as mobile finisher. Immediately after the finisher, you fall to the ground if you're in the air, even if you haven't reached the maximum distance of your jump. If your distance you fall is no more than the height of your jump, you take no damage and land upright. When attempting a high jump or long jump during a flamboyant leap, determine the DC using the long jump DC and increase the maximum distance to double your speed rather than just your speed. So yeah, you're basically you're a dragoon from Final Fantasy.
Lots of jump in there. Lots of jumps. In possible riposte, prerequisites. This is in the kind of chain of the riposte. So the Penguin Witch Doctor and I were definitely like talking about ripostes in the chat. So this is out of that conversation.
Yeah.
Your ripostes can deflect attacks back at their source. Okay. Okay. Now we're playing with some gas. You can use the opportune riposte with the trigger of a foe outside your reach. You know, this might actually answer the question, Penguin Witch Doctor. So thank you for your patience with me. A foe outside your reach critically fails an attack against you. So I think the fumble in this case is to the regular parlance that a fumble is a critical fail. So my bet, Mia Koopa, I think now that we know, we know.
And knowing half the battle.
And G.I. Joe. When you use Opportune Riposte with this new trigger against a ranged attack, your strike deflects some of the trigger effect back to its source. Compare the result of your attack roll to the AC of the triggering foe. On a hit, you deal the normal damage for your strike, but the damage type changes to the triggering attack. For instance, if you used the Opportune Riposte to deflect Ray of Frost, which you can even do, okay, your strike would deal cold damage instead of its normal damage type.
My God, this is you're basically Yu-Gi-Oh! You have a trap card laid out. You triggered my trap card.
You are legit a Jedi knocking laser blasts back at the people. Did you say me, Koopa? I did. I think I used that word wrong. I'm half Italian. I speak no Italian.
All right. The next one is Perfect Finisher, which is a one-action feat. You focus your panache into a impeccable assault, make a strike, rolling the attack roll twice, and using the better result. So yeah, this is kind of like that. I am blanking on the name. The main investigator ability. That basically you roll your intelligence to make sure you hit. I'm blanking on the name of it right now.
Oh gosh, I know what you mean. It's one of the first level abilities they get. Yeah, basically it's about like sizing them up mentally. Hey, Mr. Mihara, great to see you in the chat, buddy. Let's see here. Okay, so the cool thing about twin defense is that basically it gives you twin parry with all the bonuses and lets you attack. So you're not just kind of standing there defensively. You're not doing a full defensive action. It's nice again if you believe in the twin parry build, which I'm hesitant on, but it's not a bad thing. It's just different.
All right, the next one is Deadly Grace. Your graceful attacks are especially powerful. When you score a critical hit with an agile or finesse melee weapon that has the deadly trait, you double the number of dice from that trait. Wow. When you wield an agile or finesse melee weapon that doesn't have the deadly trait, it gains a deadly D8 trait instead.
Nope. Nope. Stop it, Paizo. I can only fall in love with that so much.
Are you smelling toast? Are you smelling toast?
I'm tasting metal and I'm seeing the sun burst. What is the... So when you crit, which as we've established now can happen on 19 up die face, or just because you hit 10 over the AC, if your weapon doesn't have the deadly trait, it gets it for free and then it doubles that dice value, which is not how that thing's supposed to work. And then if you do have it, it doubles the dice value anyway. This is why would you not get this? Is just crit fishing like King edition. This is amazing. Okay, let's see what Felicitous Riposte has to offer. I doubt it's going to be as good as Deadly Grace, but I'm very happy to be proven wrong, Paizo. You take advantage of your foe's openings with uncanny odds. When you make an opportune riposte, you can roll twice on the attack roll to get the better results. Okay. it gives you advantage to hit every time you use Opportune Riposte.
Yeah.
Not bad. That's actually pretty good.
A little insurance.
Exactly, a little more assurance.
Mm-hmm.
At level 19, maybe this becomes null and void, but unless there's some wording that I'm forgetting.
All right, the next one is Incredible Luck. You have to have Charmed Life first as a feat. You always seem to bounce back from the worst. When you use Charmed Life, roll the save twice, including the +2 circumstance bonus from Charmed Life, and use the better result. Once again, same as this line of level 18 insurance feats.
Yeah, getting advantage with a +2 for saves is really good.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm already excited about this. Oh God, I just read ahead. This is Michael, I'm gonna need a moment. Lethal finisher, level 18, prerequisite, precise strike 66, which it's gonna be. One action. You stab your foe in a vital organ, possibly killing them outright. Make a strike. On a success, you forego your precise strike damage from the finisher. Instead, your target takes additional precision damage based on a fortitude save against your class CC, which at this point is master, if not shortly after. If your strike was a critical hit, the target's saving throw outcome is 1 degree worse. Here's how this stacks up. Critical success. So, if you're doing this lethal finisher and they critical success, they take 6 precision damage. It sucks, but they still take something. If they're successful, they still take the normal 66 precision damage. So it's safe all the way around. If they fail, they take, instead of the normal 6 on the blow, they take 12d6 precision damage. If they critically fail, they take 18d6 precision damage from that strike.
Oh,
again,
that's just nasty. That's just nasty.
And you can still add the weapon that's dealing the damage, and you can still add the enhancement bonus.
We got some folks in chat saying, Maynard saying Vorpal Strike, and Malice is saying Assassinate.
Yeah. You're not in French in Frenching terms. Good Lord, no. In fencing terms, which is French, we have this strike we use called the fléché. The fléché, I believe, is illegal in most competitive sport fencing. Yeah, giggity, yeah. The fléché base, I think it translates into English as parted flesh, or the arrow parting flesh. And what it means, it's basically a off the back foot lunge through your opponent in close proximity. This is a fléché. You are now a ballista weapon, and you are just eviscerating them through.
Yeah. All right. Next one is parry and repose. You have to have opportune repose first, which you do as a swashbuckler.
Mm-hmm.
Your parries and finishers allow you to repose with the slightest provocation. You can use opportune repose against an enemy who fails at a strike against you, not just critically fails. Ooh. Provided that you have both damaged that creature with a finisher on your last turn and currently have a circumstance bonus to AC from the parry weapon trait, dueling parry, or twin parry.
So this is nice because this kind of gets rid of that entire discrepancy we had about whether or not it fumble is the normal parlance for a critical fail, or fumble is just some new way of saying missing. Now it's just, if they don't hit you, you can counterattack, which is nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's nice as Penguin Witch Doctor put it in the chat, a ceiling of 108 damage for one strike.
Whew.
I don't know, because I like damage. And parrying riposting is nice, but I feel like I'd rather just do 108 damage for one strike.
True. All right, we're now at the last 2 capstone feats.
Mm-hmm. So the first one.
Yeah, you'll take the first one, I'll take the last one.
Inexhaustible counter moves. You can react whenever a foe leaves a gap in their defense. At the start of each enemy's turn, you gain an extra reaction that you can use only during that turn to perform an opportune riposte or an attack of opportunity. Every time an enemy is about to start a turn, you can straight stab them for free.
You're playing prison style.
Oh yeah, prison rule slap boxing. You open them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Okay, that's amazing. And with your assurance, you can just smack them. Just do it.
All right. The last one. I was going to read the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Panache Paragon. You find opportunities to perform stylish feats in the moments between others' heartbeats and eye blinks. You are permanently quickened.
Oh, God.
You could use the extra action only to tumble through or perform the skill action listed in your Swashbuckler style as one that allows you to gain panache or other actions that would allow you to gain panache at the GM's discretion. Yeah, this is really, really good if you're a gymnast or wit Swashbuckler.
Yeah, remember everyone in the chat how he mentioned that, gosh, panache, it's so easy. It only takes one action to get it. You can get it, dump it, move it, all these kind of cool ways to build this one core mechanic. At level 20, you basically always have panache. You just gotta not whiff a roll to get it. That's insane. I don't know what's more insane though. The
4 actions, man. 4 actions. That's technically 4 actions.
It is. However, that 4th action can only be used to get a panache point, which still though
you're still going to be doing anyway.
Yeah, so not bad. That gives you more time to move and more strikes to have.
Yeah, Maynard is going, goddamn, I thought Summer being perma-quickened was great.
Yeah, because the thing about the Summoner being perma-quickened is that it's mostly just to buff their Eidolon, which, as we did the math on, is going to get stupid powerful.
And Cindy's asking, stab them for free? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other ability. Now, granted, you have to be already engaged in combat, or at least maybe not engage them, but close enough to hit them. But at the start of their turn, you get to stab them, which means at the start of their turn, you could kill them. And there's no more turn to be had.
Seriously, I was reading through all the capstone feats and the capstone abilities. Seriously, when I was reading through them by myself, I was going, they're kind of lackluster, meh. But as I'm reading through them at the table here and realizing how sickening they are,
Paizo, you have... It's not even my birthday, and you've given me this terrific gift. Thank you. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be that guy. Whenever I play a Swashbuckler, I'm gonna have this hat on, and I'm gonna look at the GM, and I'm gonna be like, the day I don't murder something in one turn, and don't have panache for a whole fight, that's the day I will take this hat off.
That's your panache hat now. That's your panache hat.
My panache hat. Let's see, it's called a chapeau. Panacho.
Panacho. It's your panacho now.
Damn it, I don't want nachos. It's my shinap.
Shinap, yes.
Shinap. That's terrible, but I'll take it. All right, so we
Penguin
have done
Witch Doctor saying, now I need to find a way to make them give me an attack of opportunity.
Well, you do get attack of opportunity, I think, at 6th level. Oh, unless you mean yourself, Penguin Witch Doctor. That would be nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Panachapo. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I recommend it. If you want to multi-class this, some great ideas I've experienced with Pathfinder First Edition is the Swashbuckler Magus, because now not only are you doing these tremendous panache strikes, as you're seeing, but you're getting spell strikes to add more damage to a strike. You can also dip into Rogue for a few extra sneak attack dice.
I know in first edition, a lot of people who took the Investigator class also multi-class into Swashbuckler. They call it Investibucklers.
Investibucklers are like that, or swashing gators. That's horrible. Don't do that. But I can see Swashbuckler and Investigator working well because A, the amount of skills are going to be very useful, and the amount of things that you can now cover.
Mm-hmm.
The buffing your teammates, the buffing yourself, the panache. I think, though, that eventually, here's the one problem with, if there's any flaw at all with the Swashbuckler, it is this. They are heavily dependent upon their action economy.
Mm-hmm.
Multi-classing them can be great for a potential. However, in order to live that potential to the fullest, going some Tony Robbins here, you have to really micromanage your economy, your action economy, and really figure out, okay, how much can I really stack up in one turn?
Honestly, that's what I do with Rufa, because I have so many options. It's getting kind of difficult to decide what to do, what best to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm gaining, my precise strike attack with an investigator, and I'm also getting panache together.
Mm-hmm. So you're getting the combination of precise strike and finishers, but I know we have to look at the words as written and figure out if that's actually something that stacks, or if those are two separate actions, which granted is not bad, because precise strike doesn't remove your panache. So you could have all the perks of having a panache point and still drop some investigator, some smaller damaging, but still good damaging precise strikes down the road. So that being said,
really quick, just looking this up really super quick. Strategic strike, that's what it's called. Strategic strike.
Strategic strike.
Strategic strike and getting the pursuit of lead ability.
Yes. So normally the episode is supposed to be ending about now. But if you guys don't mind, maybe we could take a quick 5-minute break, come back, and do a very quick NPC character build. You know, if you guys have that kind of patience. What do you say, Michael? Do you want to do that, or do you just want to kind of call it here and save it for next week?
Well, I'll have to be really quick.
Okay. How about this? Because I feel like time is of the essence.
Yeah.
Instead of taking a 5 and doing this, then why don't we start next episode with the character build, and then we'll go from there on the topic of next week's discussion.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you, Paizo, for creating this amazingly powered class. I love it, and I cannot wait to abuse this thing to some delicious numbers.
Oh, and I believe next episode we're going to be talking about the Oracle. We're getting to the spellcasters of the Advanced Character Guide.
That's right. So from here on out, we're going to be talking about all the fun and spoopy Halloween classes that are in the Advanced Player's Guide. And like we said, we all want to be pirates.
I'm actually an Oracle, I believe.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, and it has that kind of dark spoopiness. If you were like a sorcerer and a cleric melded together with its own kind of Halloween story, you're gonna love the Oracle, and we'll talk about that next week. So that being said, today was a fun, crazy episode.
Yeah. We learned a lot.
I learned a lot of crazy.
And pretty much had many heart attacks.
Why is this class so powerful? It's so powerful. I'm sure someone's going to be like, but PJ, here's one thing, and it's going to ruin it for me, and I'm going to be like, damn it, I can't have anything nice, but I get it. As that being said, again, if you guys like playing pirates after Pirates of the Caribbean came out, or like dressing up as pirates for Halloween, who the heck didn't have a pirate desire? Swashbuckler is this amazing way to start off your Halloween with this kind of classic fantasy come to life. That being said, Michael Powell, it's time to say our goodbyes. So please tell them who you are, where we can find you on that sweet internet.
Well, I'm Michael Powell. You can find me all over the internet, such as my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Michael Powell Does Stuff, because I do a lot of stuff. My other social medias are all at Mr. Kapow. That's MRKAPAO, and that's Instagram, Twitch, and Twitter. And let's see, on Thursdays I do Toyzilla Live on the Toyzilla Network here on Twitch, where we talk about toys and nostalgia. And I also have a YouTube channel now called Fantastic Tales of Adventure, where I do my tabletop stuff. So if you could go there, like, subscribe, and all that good stuff, that'd be awesome.
It's always always help support because we'd be nowhere without your guys' support. My name is PJ. You can find me everywhere at pj.mcgaw. I am here Tuesdays 3:30 to 5:30 doing, I'm sorry, yeah, that's right, 3:30 to 5:30 doing At the Table with my man, Mr. Michael Powell. And on Wednesdays, we are doing our flagship Pathfinder 2nd edition homebrew show, Edge of Legend. We're going to be having episode 17 tomorrow. That's going to be so exciting. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, please do. We have a YouTube channel. Just put in Edge of Legend, and you can find all the episodes to recap. You can also see these old episodes for other builds and other new content, including the playtest for the Magus and the Summoner on our YouTube channel as well. Just At the Table, check it out. When I'm not here, Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Edge of Legend, or Tuesdays with Mr. Michael Powell. Friday nights at the Twitch channel Life Action Roleplay. Me and some friends have brought back a classic from the Maze Arcana channel that used to be on Twitch called Arcana High. We're bringing it back as now the boys and girls of the all D&D themed high school have gone on to community college. I'm the half-elf bard, used to be super rich, now maybe I'm not, and I'm still trying to figure out who the heck I am without my money. So come and check it out Friday nights, 7 p.m., Live Action Roleplay. I'll be there with silver hair and elf ears. And until then, I'll see you. Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I just want to say, Sydney brings up a good point. We have a new player we're going to be introducing on Wednesday this week.
That's right. That is correct. If you've been looking on our social media, we have a new player. Sam Sanchez, good friend of the show, good friend of almost everyone in the cast. She is going to be showing up as her luchador barbarian from south of Azmakan. And we'll get to learn more about that country and see the amazing lucha style as a barbarian just overpowers her foes. So come and see us tomorrow, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Come in and wish Sam the best. She has her first episode with us. Artwork is all over social media. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.